Welcome to VelocityForm Podcast preview of the Grand Final. I'm Dave from eBoss, which powers our VelocityForm models. We bring you pro, punter and data science secrets so you can bridge the gap between you and the bookmakers. Proud to say our models got both games right last week as far as equity and value goes. Our season results have now hit 20% profit, so we are really happy with that, and we hope to continue that into next season. So for the grand final this year, so this is a Wednesday at 6:30 we're doing this. So the teams are named. A quick look down the teams. Dylan Edwards has been in a moon boot. Apparently he will play with pain-killing injections. Toho has been injured, but he was okay without being his usual dynamic self. So a bit of a question mark on him. Cleary does seem to be troubled by a shoulder. Whether Souths can take advantage of that is another thing, but he certainly seems like one of his shoulders are busted. And Reynolds didn't kick, goal kick or didn't seem to kick much in play last week. I'm not sure whether it was announced what it was, whether it was a quad or a groin or something. As far as the forwards goes, I'd probably take Coruscant over Cook as far as form goes. Cook had a leg injury. I think it might have been a quad at the end of last month. I'm not sure whether he's over that, although, he certainly hasn't been playing poorly. And as we go down and have a look at the bench, I'd probably give a slight edge to the Rabbits on the bench. Certainly, I think Jai Arrow is pretty much makes just about any starting side in the comp, but he's on the bench here for the Rabbits. And the Panthers bench, maybe shaded a bit by Souths. So I'm going to have a look at some of the stats and some of the, what the teams have been doing. For those on YouTube following on my screen, you can see. For those on the audio only, I will do my best to explain some of the numbers that we're looking at. So for the Panthers, we're just looking at the finals games. They've had low scoring, really tough battles in all the games, which probably stood them in good stead for the Storm. I wonder whether Bellamy is questioning his cut price, centre and three quarters and wingers. I think the three quarters really let the Storm down with some errors and issues in defence last week, and Panthers were able to scrape home. Obviously losing your prop and hooker early certainly didn't help either for the Storm, but plenty of errors, and I think the wingers and centres were certainly found out a bit. So for the Rabbits, their finals, first week of the finals, they obviously beat the Panthers 16-10. A pretty comfortable win over a Manly side that was probably, almost reached the end of the tether for them. And then we've got the grand final. So South obviously have had the week off. So let's have a look at some stats. So our VelocityForm models take all the in-game stats as well as all the results from the last 5 years. It's all weighted. The in-game stats, we weight the statistics on those stats that strongly correlate to a win. And then we get our 100% percentage of a rated price. So if we just have a look at the ladder here, I just wanted to show the points against for the Panthers at 286. So this is for the regular season, and it's probably got, around the same or maybe a bit better for the finals. But they've pretty much let in, 12 points, maybe a bit less per game, which is amazing defence. The Rabbitohs are very different. So that's, 18, maybe nearly 19 points for the Rabbitohs there for the regular season. I wanted to point out some of the in-game statistics that are worth pointing out. So these are for the average for the season. And the first one I've got here is line breaks. So the Rabbitohs are second on the ladder at 6.5 per game averaging. Panthers at 5.1. So Rabbitohs, 1.5 extra line breaks on the Panthers. For line break assists, I think everyone knows how dangerous Cody Walker can be as far as line break assists. So we've got the Rabbitohs on the top of the ladder there at 5.3 per game as an average. Panthers sixth on the ladder at 3.5. So they're, probably 2 less there. For the all run meters, Panthers are on top of the ladder at 1,806. And the Rabbitohs are second on 1,769. Now, what I did want to point out, though, is the dummy half runs. And again, these are averages. And the Rabbitohs are fourth on the ladder for dummy half runs at, nearly 13 per game that they're averaging. And the Panthers right down the bottom at 5.5 per game they're averaging. So if I was Ivan Cleary, I would be looking at all those all-run meters and those dummy half runs, and I would say to the markers, you get out and you tackle the dummy half for the Rabbitohs. If you can cut down their meters as far as the dummy half runs goes, that'll certainly help the arm wrestle and field position, especially if it's a tight game. So let's have a look and see what the market says. So I've started at the tab here. We've got Penrith $1.67, Souths at $2.25, with the line at 3.5 at $1.90. On Betfair, we've got $1.74, Penrith, Souths $2.34. Again, the line 3.5 there. On TopSport, $1.68 versus $2.25. A 3.5 line there, and the Panthers actually at $1.95 for the -3.5. South at $1.91, and on Sportsbet we've got $1.68 versus $2.25, a $3.5 $1.90 of 2 each line. So what does VelocityForm think? So as I mentioned before, we take all the in-game stats, results, etc. And we also put a tier on each team. So if you're a top 4 team, you're tier 1. If you're a bottom 4 team, you're tier 4, plus obviously the 2 in the middle. And these tiers, each punter using our product can change each week, which is no good for you next week, but certainly for next season. So our rated price is $1.72 versus $2.30. That's 100% market. That, sort of roughly equates to about 60-40. So we're not too far off a coin flip there. A line prediction of -5 to the Panthers, and, obviously 5 for the Rabbitohs. The win percentage versus their opponent's tier for 12 months, the Panthers are 70%. The win percentage over 3 years is 57%. For the Rabbitohs versus tier 1 teams in the last 12 months, they've won 44% of games, and the last 3 years it's 43%. For the line, the Panthers for the last 12 months is 50%, and win percentage for 3 years is 57%. The Rabbitohs line win percentage versus tier 1 is 33%, and 3 years is 52%. And the match over and unders. So the Panthers are in overs games 43% of the time, the Rabbitohs 52%, and the unders 57%, and the Rabbitohs 48%. So I suppose the bad news is with the ratings and the prices that we've got, I can't really push you into one team or another, or certainly not the last 2 weeks of our podcast that you can go back and have a look. We've got both of those games spot on. But the flip side of that is, the good news is I can't talk you out of a bet. So if you like the Panthers, I certainly won't talk you out of backing them. And, I'd recommend backing the head-to-head and also the line. And all the same goes for the Rabbitohs as well. If you like the Rabbitohs, they'll be a bit fresher. They had the week off. Follow the news later on in the week about injuries and the like. A few crucial ones in Penrith. And if Adam Reynolds turns out to be, okay, then maybe you want to have a little nibble at the Rabbitohs head-to-head and also the line. All right, thanks for watching and listening. We look forward to you joining VelocityForm next season as far as the rugby league goes. If you're interested in the horse racing, we're going to be ready for beta testing in a couple of weeks. And so our plan is to create winning punters at scale. That's our mission. So the more punters that we have, the greater impact that we can have with people's pockets and start eating into those bookies' profits. So thanks for all our customers for VelocityForm. Thanks for taking us, trusting us this season. We're really happy to have you on board, and we're going to do the same again next season. Good luck for the grand final, and we'll chat to you all as far as the rugby league goes next season. For our horse punters, we'll be doing a podcast in a couple of weeks, every week. All right, have a great weekend and good luck.